So good morning again. I'm an orthopedic surgeon, and of course, I'm most interested in bone health. There's two groups that I think you all may hope your name is never in the rolls of, two statistical groups. The first of these is somebody who has a hip fracture. Why not? What's such the big deal? Well, many studies have shown that roughly 25% of those people who sustain a hip fracture die within the first year. If you survive, only 25% of those sustaining a hip fracture ever return to the previous activity level, and most, more than half, end up needing nursing home care for a considerable period of time. Don't be one of these statistics. How do you avoid a hip fracture? Nutritious diet and vitamin D, okay, yeah, you need to do that, obviously. But if you don't exercise, just doing the other two things isn't going to keep you out of this group. So what kind of exercise are we talking about? We're talking about exercise that produces muscle strength and bone strength, flexibility, balance, and agility. It's not just women who get hip fractures. The Rosie the Riveter, We Can Do It, became the poster child for the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons osteoporosis campaign. But Joseph Pilates at 82 was pretty fit, very strong muscles, undoubtedly had strong bones to go with it. So how do you get that way? Physical exercise. And what have we done instead? We've engineered physical activity out of everyday life. We used to say, get a dog and walk it. That's a great way to get exercise. We did not mean this. We meant something more like this. These are pictures that I took in India where walking is a way of life, and these women have actually overloaded their bones by carrying their goods to and from market, and this keeps their bones strong, even in an otherwise poverty-stricken lifestyle. A picture taken in Greece where you see the fit Greek man in the middle remembers that dancing is fun because he does it all the time. But my mentor, the Bostonian physician in the middle, and a famous Irish asthma physician on the right, don't dance as a part of their daily life. We have to integrate this activity back into our daily lifestyle. We want bones that look like the stuff on the left. This beautiful organic lattice work that's thick, that's robust, that has these curves that are strong in trabecular bone that is like a honeycomb pattern. We don't want this bone on the right that becomes thinned and narrow and fractures. We know that strong muscles make strong bones, or at least the two go together, and it appears to be more of a causation effect. A very early study done in the 80s found that if you looked at the tennis player's arm, the dominant and non-dominant arm, that you can see the comparison of the wider one on the outer side. This area with the black lines in it is the difference between the thickened arm and the smaller arm. And just recent data has confirmed the muscle strength and muscle size is very closely related to this in non-dominant and dominant side. And importantly, the children who begin tennis before puberty are much more likely to have the biggest differences compared to those who begin as adults or even just post-pubertal. So age matters also. Greater loads make better bones. Bone builds both on the outside and it also builds on the inside. This is true in space flight, you get loss from the inside out. In aging, you get loss from inside out. You can build new bone on the outside, but once you've lost it, it's really hard to build it to the inside. Again, this needs to be constant or increasing, not decreasing loads. How do we get stronger during work? We can stand. Standing desks are not a new thing, as you see from Winston Churchill and Jefferson. We can sit in a way that is perhaps a little more evocative. We can walk at a treadmill desk. We can have a walking meeting. We can make all kinds of bizarre conglomerations of things to allow height adjustability or to allow exercises work. Creative thought gives us more opportunity. We can jump. There's a great study of jumping at the bell in the Vancouver school children, and they got stronger. We can take the stairs. You're all used to a number of stair climbing initiatives. And one you may not have thought about has to do with instant recess, because the programming is critical. We've heard a little bit more about how programming has to sustain a design, but programming sustains health as well. You can just put something there, and if somebody doesn't take advantage of it, it doesn't work. So I encourage you all to be familiar with Tony Yancey's work because it's fabulous. Playgrounds should be part of an adult's life too. I look at the Javits Center and say, wow, this is a great place to run and jump and do plyometrics, until I learned that the office workers in these buildings eat lunch there, and that's all. We can design beautiful spaces immediately adjacent to our workplaces. These are some of our students' designs from the University of Pennsylvania. They don't have to be big. They can be innovative and beautiful. We never want to miss out on an opportunity to increase the physical activity in the people in the workplaces and around the workplaces that we design. We want to avoid or delay being a second statistic. We don't want to be dead sooner than we have to. And in fact, musculoskeletal fitness correlates quite precisely in a prospective manner with mortality rates. Some risk should be acceptable. I can treat your broken bone. It's a lot harder for me to treat your diabetes and to try to handle a lifelong medical problem. A short-term one from a small injury, in my mind, is an acceptable risk. So we want everyone in this room, and I'm going to try to be a part of that, and please feel free to ask all of us physicians questions, because we have to be part of this conversation too. Many of my students love the design of bone, so that's why I spent a little time on it. But we want to be building these beautiful spaces that not only are sustainable from the solar panel energy above, and not only have nutrition from the green wall behind, but have treadmills and a climbing wall and spaces to run and skateboard. So I thank you very much for your attention, and I'm really excited to see this group convene. So we get one standing applause, then I get to introduce the next person. Thank you very much.